Welcome, and thanks for watching Her Story. Her Story stands for Heroic, Eloquent, Resilient, and Relentless Women. This is a platform that was created to help empower women in telling their stories while empowering others to share their stories as well.
So Denise, you shared a whole lot. You shared a whole lot, and I really appreciate you in sharing that. I would want to ask you, in your life and all the things you've had to overcome, what was the hardest battle for you to face? What was the hardest hurdle you had to cross?
Honestly, and this may sound so crazy, not graduating school made me feel incomplete.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, that was all you heard was, you got to graduate. Well, I did not graduate, and it haunted me even when I was making more money than the kids that were graduated. And honestly, I probably still do make more money than a lot of graduates, but it haunted me. It made me feel less than sometimes. And to say, like to say, what year did you graduate? And I didn't have a year. And before COVID, actually, I started going to night school, a vocational school, and I was really enjoying it. I was
Hmm.
enjoying learning. Um, and most of my life, I worked for myself, but it still bothered me
Hmm.
that I didn't graduate. I don't know why.
I think that has to do with in the time that you came up, and the importance around it, and that it, I don't think people make as big of a deal anymore about it. I don't think they make a big a bit a deal about education like they used to at all. But it was very important to me too, And then you're the oldest, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like I'm just imagining that these are some of those things that went through your mind, like you had to, you know what I mean? You had to be that example. But you've done a whole. Nobody would ever know that you did not graduate school. Nobody would ever know that. You've accomplished so much, and not getting that didn't stop you from anything.
True, it didn't. Um, it just, it possibly fed into when people said things like, you're too dumb, or, you're not smart enough, you didn't graduate, you're not smart enough. And then in the back of your mind, you really, you're saying to yourself, well, I didn't finish. And it plays with you.
Hmm.
I was in this vocational school and working with some of the biggest actors in the Green Book, or filming and getting recognized for the deliberate. But within me, I'm telling the teacher, well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow because these are the things. And they're going, you're getting a GD, but they had no clue.
What that meant to
And,
you.
oh my God, it bothered me so bad. So I was sitting there and, I was learning, and I truly was enjoying learning the things that I really wasn't going to implement in my life. I didn't have a need for it.
Mhm.
But as I was learning, it just made me feel better. But yet, oh, I gotta go because we're casting over here, or we're doing this over here. And the teachers would laugh, and they probably would say, "What in the world is?" And you work for yourself, and what are you doing in here? But yeah, that is my secret. Sometimes I just don't feel book now. I'm very wise. I'm an old school. The wisdom that I have has taken me and will continue taking me. But
Absolutely.
man has put on you, without an education, you're nobody.
Mhm.
So, like you said, I grew up in an era that needed an education. And even though I'm making it, that little thing that you didn't graduate still pulls at me, but it has never knocked at the door and said, can you show it so that it has never stopped me. But yet, that is the one thing that has bothered me and haunted me the most when it comes to feeling like, okay, I can accomplish anything. I just feel like I didn't do that. So, you know what I mean? Do it
Mm.
sound crazy?
Oh no, no, I 100% understand where you're coming from. I don't know if you know it, but I didn't finish high school either, because I was sick in high school and I had to have an emergency surgery. But I was an honor roll student. I was an honor roll student, and I was always told that I can do and be anybody, and I believe that it hurt me a lot having to leave high school from something that that I couldn't have avoided, and that haunted me for a while too. I'll be honest with you. However, after I had the surgery, I did get my GED because I knew I was going to college. Like that was always the plan to go to college. So I did get my GED and I went to college. But so now I'm a little later going to college. Everybody else then been there for a few years, and the people that I should have been going with, they're a year or two ahead of me. Um, but that's why I had to fight through and get through it because hey, I didn't graduate traditionally with everybody else. And even though my circumstances were different, I had to do that for me. And because I was so smart, so book smart, like I love learning. Like I really love learning. When I was going for my bachelor's and I'm going through all the stuff I was going through in my marriage and I couldn't stay in school, that like just crushed me. Oh, it just crushed me, because I was so set on that degree and what I was working on. And then life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens, and those are the understandings that I had to come to, in being ashamed of my past and whatever I didn't get to, or whatever. Life happens while you're making plans. That vision you had when you was a young girl, that vision I had when was a young girl, life wasn't in between that vision. I just had that vision, and the kids wasn't part, you know what I mean? You didn't see the kids coming, you didn't see the relationships, you didn't see the failed marriage, you didn't see a car accident, you didn't see mama and daddy and them leaving, you didn't see all
No,
those things.
no,
Life
no.
happens in the midst
And I
of.
think we get caught up in that fairy tale. And girl, I really feel like they need to stop telling me. You know,
Yeah.
Prince Charming comes along, and you get the picket fence life. And first of all, now one child of mine was planned. Oops, we got a baby. You go,
Hmm.
you get the baby, you bring the baby home, you make it work.
Right.
Here
Right.
come another one. You go get that one. That with me, it was go get those two, bring them home, you make it work. So
Mhm.
we have to tell our daughters and our sons the truth that one day you will find a mate or a baby comes along. And you're going to have to be that young man or that young woman to try your best at that time to
Mhm.
do the right thing. Because what we see on television and what we deal with in reality is totally different. I
And that's
think,
part of the problem. You're right. That is part of the problem. We're set up from jump with this false reality, and we're believing that that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's the way it's supposed to look like. But they don't show you the hard times. They don't show you the difficult times. They don't show you the way you ready to pull your hair out your head and you can't take it no more, and it's the last straw. They
yeah,
don't show all of that. They just show it's supposed to be pretty and glamorous every day. That's not real life.
right. I never forget, I tried to, well, my kids always tried to create this amazing Christmas.
Hmm.
And so I wanted white people Christmas, the kids coming down the stairs and, the camera set up and them black kids, they just, come down the stairs. You got to turn the camera off because the daughter said, you bought me that pink bike last year. Then, it was just like, I'm trying to create what's on TV for you kids, and y'all come down. And because I have given so much to them, They have options. And I didn't realize that. I did not realize I was creating these monsters, but I wanted what television showed me. So my kids needed to come down the stairs and they needed to say, oh my gosh. Well, we started the video over and over. I had to pop them and beat them and then go back upstairs. No, no, it just got to the point. Don't turn the camera off. Don't leave the camera off because somebody gonna come down. They don't like the gift, mess up my Christmas. And I finally realized you're not getting it.
Mm-mm.
You're
Mm-mm.
not getting it. And guess what? They weren't getting it either.
The
Life
best
is
you can do,
something.
the best you can do is try and recreate that with the grandbabies. Already have them pre set up, pre propped, whatever.
No, the words my 7-year-old described to me today, just telling me about her day. No, I can't even try with them. Those kids are so wise. They are. I'm trying to think of the word she used today that just blew my mind. The word for unplanned. She used some big word for unplanned. It wasn't planned. It just. And I said, well, what did you just say? Girl, I can't even think of the word right now. And just no, you can't even do it
It's
with them.
7.
Yeah,
It's
she'll be
7.
7 at the end of the month. But her words, they're large. There's no N and and let me see, the what you call it. No, that's not these
Um,
kids. These kids are on another level. I'm not even trying it with them. Her mom, I watch her mom, she tries it, but I'm not. Her mom is the one that didn't want the pink bike 2 years in a row. So no,
right,
you can
right.
try it, but I'm not.
It's funny you say that. I was watching something on TV and they were talking about it was one of these multi-million billion dollar folks, what have you, and they were talking about how with our children, we don't want them to go through what we went through. We don't want them to have to go through the not having and the poverty and the wanting and the being teased, and we don't want them to go through all that, right? So we go out of our way to give them a better life. Now they had a better life. Now they've been spoiled, and they don't know how to go through something. They don't know how to go through nothing, and they don't know how to not have options and not be everything's just done for you. You know what I mean? And in a sense, it's almost like, yeah, we didn't want them to go through what we went through, and we wanted them to have more than we had. But now we have created these monsters,
Oh, yeah.
right? I got a super monster over here. Look. It's been a challenge trying
Yeah.
to break that, you know what I mean? Because
Yes, I
especially with my
did that.
oldest one, she got everything. And then the other one too was
Mhm.
like, well, where my car at, and where my this at, and where my dad at? You're like, hold up, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get that.
Oh, yeah. My kids had cars by 16. And that was the beginning of losing your children. Let me say that loud. The minute they get cars
Hmm.
is the minute you begin to lose your child.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the truth.
They ain't
I
home no
wrote
more.
at 16, I got a job. I took my check. I bought a bike. I rode that bike to work. I rode it from school. I went home. I got off the bus. I rode my bike to work. That was from
Hmm.
North Slidell to Wendy's. You know how far that is on Gauze.
Oh yeah.
I
Hmm.
drove through the subdivisions and I rode my bike. These
Hmm.
kids had to have a car. The little girl that didn't want the pink bike twice, she didn't want any car. She had to have, the sporty or whatever. And she had this, I'll just drive y'all nuts here until you get it. That's who she was and still is, Jesus. But I say that to say, but I wanted her with the best. And even if that meant fighting with her dad behind her back to make sure she got the best of the boys, making sure they had the best because I lacked it. I was poor
Right.
and
Hmm.
my kids wasn't going to be poor like me. Now, we wasn't rich. We was working class family. And I was able to give my kids, me that didn't have an education, worked for myself. So I was able to provide different things for the kids that I
Right.
did not have.
Mm-hmm.
So I want everybody to know, when you buy that car, they will say they are time savers, and they so far from time savers. And I look back now, and it's like you played yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had to give the next set of kids coming because you gave the oldest, and that oldest was our everything.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
that kid that what I didn't have, honey, you was gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
He was that kid, and I'm gonna tell you how dumb I was. He was very intelligent, therefore he didn't have to study.
Mm.
He made good grades. He played every sport there was to keep him from coming home. So he was always occupied.
Mm.
He never had to worry about asking for money because you got your money. When
Uh-huh.
the dances came, you got your suits. He drove, back then, a Mazda Millennium was like a Mercedes. He drove
Yeah, it was. I remember.
top of the line, put the kids, the friends in, and they lay on the floor, and I'm looking at them laying on the floor, but you're not supposed to have nobody in. But I did this because I never had nobody teach me, and I was always teaching him. We were always, my ex-husband believes in teaching kids. Actually, he had all the kids in the neighborhood would come to him for knowledge, and he would,
Mm.
we had computers, we had all the, and we would share it with the community. We was the community house. We just
Right,
believed
right.
in helping the children, so they did come. So my son was pretty privileged, and the kids saw him to be privileged. But let me let you know something. That child, by us not putting our foot down on him, like the old folks say, he kind of got lost out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it took time for him to find his way again.
You're right.
Be careful when you're giving these kids cars and you're giving these kids too much freedom, because the
Right.
joy you feeling and you bestowing upon these children, there's other things out there when they get this car that they're able to get involved in.
Right.
So you over here feeling this joy when they're experiencing things that you just wasn't ready for them to experience. So be careful.
Yeah.
Be when you
You
rewarding these kids.
you so right. Cause once Tariel got that car, she got a car, I think she was a senior in high school. Baby, I ain't see her no more. Next, look, for a long time, I had to just hit stuff on the street. Like, couldn't reach her on the phone, no nothing. It's like, oh, where's she at? Somebody was like, you seen your car lately? You seen the car lately? The car needs some work done to it. That girl
You
rolling, you
would
hear me?
drive that car till it fall apart, okay?
Right.
That Mazda didn't look nothing like the car we gave that child, honey. He done put sports tires regular. You're gonna take my good tires, I'll put some regular sports tires, as long as they look sporty. He didn't care if the tires was about to bust soon as he took off. I want it's just, I look back and I'm not gonna lie, I went through the storm. I went through the storm. I'm telling y'all, I went through the storm. Be careful rewarding these kids too early and too much.
Yeah.
That old saying, spoil a child, is the truth. It's, oh my God, it's the truth. I'd have been through it. Some of y'all may be blessed. You spoil them and they turn out awesome. But majority of kids that you give too much too soon, they go through some things.
Yeah. And a lot of them don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate it because they ain't never really had to work for nothing and work hard for nothing. And so then they become adults, and that's a challenge for them having to actually work for something,
Mm-hmm.
and instilling that in them. Like I remember with Tyrell, I just had to tell her, baby, you won't get another dime from me. I just had to cut her off because now I'm in debt messing with you,
It's so
trying to
true.
save you. I don't know. That's what had to happen.
Yeah.
But
And I have to say, you have some strong children. Oh my
thank
God.
you. Thank
It
you.
is amazing what you have done with your kids.
Well, in saying that, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like we grew up poor too. But them girls, somebody told me, one of them old schools say you gotta put the fear of God in them children. and I learned that. I learned I had to put the fear of God in them, but I meant what I said, and they know I meant what I said, and I'm only gonna go so far with you. But I also believed in just being blunt and honest with them, and just telling them like it is, um, I don't know if you remember, I had stepsons, and that's a whole different world having boys and having girls. So I had the boys pretty much before I really had the girls. So it's a toughness there, And then I had the girls, and then it's like I had to learn how to be softer and more gentler with those girls. But being a single parent for so long, there's a toughness there and there's a hardness there. It's like, I want to give it to you nice and sweet, I really do, but the world ain't gonna give it to you nice and sweet. So I
Mm-mm.
gotta prepare you for what the world gonna do to you, and
Yeah.
I always told them there's gonna be a time when you're not gonna have nobody.
Oh,
You're
yes.
not gonna have nobody. You're not gonna have me. You ain't gonna have nobody to call on, and you need to have a relationship with God. So I was really big on praying over my girls because I had all girls. I was really big on bringing them to the altar. Just like you spoke about washing feet, we all was in the Disciples of Jesus Church, and they believed in washing the feet, laying on the hands, speaking in tongues, anointing with the oil.
Yeah.
So I believed in all of that in raising my kids. And baby, they got anointed. They went up to the altar. I'm praying over, I'm crying over, and I believe in that, bringing your kids to the altar. And I know that saved them, I feel like it saved them and it saved me from a whole lot of extra stuff that we could have went through. Um, but we've shared a whole lot. We shared a whole lot tonight. And I want to ask you if there was a message in closing that you would give to young women, what would you say?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's what I would hold on and don't be afraid. Just hold on. Just hold on. Yeah.
That right there, fear. Everything is selling fear, and we've been told so often that we're not, and that we can't, and that you won't. And then some of us, like you don't see somebody exhibiting what it is that you want. You don't see the example. A lot of people don't have that father figure. Some don't even have a mother figure,
Mhm.
to direct them, and then we get lost. And a lot of times it's years before we find our way. It's years
Exactly.
before we circle back to, okay, wait a minute, let me get myself together because we're so messed up
Yeah.
from all this other stuff,
Yeah.
you know? We're
Right.
so messed up from all those other things.
We carry some heavy loads, but um, we have to give them to God.
Hmm.
And when you give them to God, it allows you to rise up and live. You have to find a way to give it. God, you take this, free me from this. And I
Hmm.
promise you, it will happen. It has happened for me, and I know it will happen for all of the women that are watching this channel. I watched you grow up as a young girl. You've always been strong. You always had to endure, and you did. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so, so proud of you. And I look up to you, and I always knew you were smart. You always smart. You was always a survivor. All that I saw that you went through, you always pop back up. It's like, man, that girl. And look at you now, you're doing it. Your children are doing well, you're doing well, and you are an example of a phenomenal woman. We all are. Us Thompson girls, we didn't have nobody to show us, what success looked like. So we paved our own way. Everything I'm doing, I paved it myself. Everything you're doing, you paved it yourself. And we have other cousins that are paving the way, and they are doing excellent out there. Even though they've been through the storm, they go through it, they wipe those tears, and they are standing on solid ground now. So I'm just so proud of you, and I'm proud of us. I'm proud
Thank
of us. We
you.
may not see each other every day. We may not talk every day, but I'm proud of us because I know we went through.
We sure have, and I don't remember the two bedroom, or one
Oh
bedroom. I
no, by
remember
then,
what it.
y'all, we had the big four. Grandma had been built. God took her from a two-bedroom to the largest house in the neighborhood. So it went from ha 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 to oh.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
my grandmother, God, I thank you. She took one bedroom. She built one room at a time until she wound up building a big old house that we all could go to and be there. She built like a four-bedroom living, dining, den,
That
two or
house
three
had plenty
bathrooms.
rooms, plenty
Okay, and they were
rooms.
big rooms. So,
Mm-hmm.
honey, won't he do it? Won't he take the last and make them first? So now you got to drive by this big old house that sat there was a two-bedroom house. Nice, this huge house sitting here. Baby, God has been good. He has shown us over and over. Hold on. She didn't have
Absolutely.
any education, but God blessed her and he kept her. And before she
Mm-hmm.
left this world, she had a beautiful home.
Yes, yes. I remember being a kid, and I'm like just exploring the house. It's like this room, the house got so many rooms. It's like here's another room, and it was just all it was a lot of rooms and a lot of space. Like a living room over here, the living room over there, a den over here, a den over there.
Yeah, that's what, and one room at a time, one room at a time. That's how it was.
Wow, ain't
Yes,
that something?
yes,
Well, I was
ma'am.
saying that to say, I remember being a kid and carrying water. I
Girl,
remember not
that's why I
having.
say we ain't talked about it all. You
I
know,
I remember carrying water, and I remember not having hot water and not having heat in the house. And then my daddy be fussing at my mama. We got all the connections. She just won't put the stuff together. She just won't go up there. So I remember carrying water. You know what I mean? And we
yeah,
came
it
a
was
long way.
cold when I stayed at y'all's house. It was cold. That might be why I went back home. Yeah, I do remember that. Because your dad was building a big home too. He wanted
Hmm.
y'all. I never met a man that he said every child of mine gonna have a house, and he was out there with his hands building for y'all, and that is just amazing. He was the only man that I can look up to because Uncle Charles had moved and went to the military or started his own family, so he went New Orleans or somewhere, and Uncle Jerry was he had you guys, yeah, he had gotten married and his
Hmm.
plans were just amazing. I mean, I had never
Hmm.
met a man that was building houses for children you don't have. I'm like, what? You're building another house? You don't even have no kids yet, or whatever. What are you
Right, right.
doing? But he said, each child of mine, he spoke, is going to have a house. I said, my Lord, I need a daddy. Where's my daddy?
And he did that though. We didn't know, we was kids. We didn't really understand what was going on, but we know there was the house we grew up in, and we knew it was two more houses that was built. We didn't know his vision. You know what I mean? That was really supposed to be ours. But he definitely did that. Before he passed, he had explained to me how he bought the land, and that he had got it from Mr. Elijah, that he told him he wanted some land, and that he paid for it over time. He paid
Yeah.
for it over time because he knew he didn't want to stay at home with his mom, and he knew he wanted a family and all of that. So he was preparing ahead of time for his
With a
wife
fixed
and for his
income.
family. Yes.
With a fixed income. Let me bring that. That man had a vision, and his money was always spent wisely. Wisely. So
When
y'all
he
were
told me
blessed.
that, I'm like, Daddy, it's people can't do half of what you did on a fixed income. But he said, he explained to me how he managed his money, and he gave that every time he got money, he gave him, something on that land, and he paid for it. He said he paid it off, and that's dedication.
Yeah.
That's
And
dedication.
I don't believe your dad even owed money on his house, like his first house. I think he was like buying wood it was
Hmm.
just amazing. he's the strength that I saw. He was the strength that I saw. And I knew I wanted a house for my kids too. And I told God that. I told
Mhm.
God I wanted a house to raise my children. I didn't want to raise my kids from house to house. You know, we got to tell God what we want. He
Yeah.
already know you want these things, but you have not because you speak not.
Yeah.
If
Ooh.
you moving around, have you ever stopped and
Mhm.
say, God, this is what I want for me and mine? And I would drive, girl, I would drive around looking at houses and I didn't have no money and no credit.
Mhm.
And I would get off from work and I would drive around and I would be in the neighborhoods that I drove in them. I
Mhm.
drove in them. And I'll never forget, we were living in Pearl River in this rental house, and my
Mhm.
mother called me. Now, nobody knew I had been driving around looking for houses.
Mhm.
And I think my income tax was going to be taken from me. I wasn't supposed to get no money. So my mama
Mhm.
called me and she said, Girl, you got a big old check over here. I said, I know I don't have no check. She said, Yeah, you have a check. And I just started screaming and I was outside and I just was praising God because I had been driving around looking at houses, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't have no money. And so, girl, the check was like $3,500. And back then in the
A
90s, that
lot
was
of
a
money.
lot of money. And so
Yeah.
I called my brother and I'm like, Look, you got the credit, I got the money. Let's buy a house, put these kids in it, and and we just go from there. And that's how we
Mhm.
got our first house. The two of us joined together, and that's what we have to do. We have
Mm.
to join together sometimes with family, and
Yes.
we can make it.
Mhm.
And we bought that doggone house, girl, and went in there and remodeled that house, and I raised my kids in that house. Just like God said, I had asked him, I want to raise my kids. That was in a very, what we would call upscale
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. You was in a
Back
nice
then,
area.
my
Mhm.
children went to very good schools, and we didn't move until we purchased our own home. And it was
Mhm.
a home I wanted. Lots of land that I love entertaining. So we were able to
Right.
do a lot of entertaining. So it was everything I wanted. But
Mhm.
I go back to say that woman that was driving around, and let me let you know, I was accused of being out there with somebody because I didn't go home and say I've been driving around. I would get off my job with standing on my feet, tired as ever, and I would drive around
Mhm.
claiming a house for me to raise my children in. That was
Mm.
my secret.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
God manifests. That's why he said, What you do in the dark, I will
Will come
bring
to the
forth
light.
in the light. So you got to be careful what you
Mm.
doing in the dark. And
Ooh.
a home was manifest for my children. And I tell them that story, that while y'all was there laying around or playing or having a good time, no broke down mama who had worked on other people's job, I had given them the best of me all day long. And then I
Mhm.
took those few hours. A lot of times I would get home about 10 o'clock because I'm driving around visualizing that one of
Mm.
these houses is going to be mine.
Wow.
Manifest that. He
Baby, you been
manifests.
manifesting. You been
And this
manifesting.
little
Oh,
guy told me that one of my little cousins, he's my son's age, he wrapped his arm around me. His name is Rico.
oh,
And
Enrico.
Rico said, You've been manifesting. He
Mm-hmm.
said, They see you. They see you
Oh,
and they
yeah.
know you've been manifesting. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
just start. And then you turn around and said, and the other day I heard somebody say, You've been manifesting. And I didn't have nobody to teach me those things. It's just a spirit in me that made me
Mm-hmm.
do those things. And it makes me want to teach people. And people don't realize you need to invest in yourself. Just like
Right.
you invest in those shoes and the clothes. Take your daughter, take your son. I'll sit down and visualize, what you want in your life. If there's classes being offered, take those classes. I don't care where you are in life. Take classes with you and your children, teaching you how to change generations to come. And sometimes it's just from a thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to have money.
Mm-hmm.
I manifest $10,000. I wrote it. It may have been 7 years. It sat on this door in my salon, and I put it in different places, and I put it in. So about 7 years later, here comes COVID. So you think, oh, somebody gonna come give it to me. I'm gonna win it. You know, here comes COVID, and you filled out this little paperwork, and then they gave me this check for $10,000. So it wasn't a check for 10,001, 10,020. You put on that wall, you wanted $10,000. You also told God you wanted financial blessings from the north, south, east, and west to come through the doors of your salon. So you're like having that business allowed me during COVID to qualify for what was written on my wall. So I ran through my salon praising God. But let me tell you a sad thing. That's something I did. I had a picture of me on the wall, and underneath that picture, I had billionaire. I could have possibly been the billionaire, but I allowed somebody, my ex, why you got that billionaire up under your picture? Them people gonna think you crazy. Why you got billionaire right there? They're not gonna want to come here because you got billionaire. It played with my head one day, and I moved it. But I moved it where I do my waxing, where nobody could really see it but me. So I often wonder, what did you do? Because you allowed somebody to come in and mess up what you're manifesting. You was manifesting that. So I went recently and I stuck it back. But I've been in business 9 years now, and I took it down and I just put it back. So I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to manifest, but I'm gonna manifest it. It's manifest. And the reason I don't have it is because I allowed somebody to make me feel some kind of way because other people could see it. You gotta be willing to be looked at crazy because of your thoughts and your dreams. I'm telling you, I done been through it. As I tried, having a vision board in a house, it was just disturbing the house that I had a vision board. I mean, I'm like, whatever you see on that vision board, you can be part of it. But your vision can be intimidating. Your vision can cause a disturbance in your home because you are visualizing something that person that you are with, they have no idea how to manifest it. So you disturbing me. You disturbing me with that big fine house on a cardboard. You disturbing me with a peaceful relationship of somebody that we don't even know. I need you to remove that because in my spirit, I'm disturbed because I don't see it happening for me, and I'll be doggone if I'm gonna see it for you. So I took my little board down, and it was a traveling board, Lord. I put it in his closet. Now you going in there to get your shoes. But it's the truth. Your vision can bother people. And we don't know why we're talking so long, but you know what? I remember the disciples of Jesus say, let the spirit move. So my vision board caused chaos. But on my vision board, I had, now that I realize was that Gabrielle Union and her husband. They're on my, I had my old vision board, and then we had a vision board, and then I started adding some stuff, but they're on there with this yellow dress. Yellow is my favorite color. And just so many other things on my vision board but I wanted a man in the kitchen, and he was helping his wife. I wanted him folding towels. I wanted him hugging her. So it was a well-rounded man. And that joker was doing some intimidation on that wall. And so I had to take him down. I take that vision board down. The vision board had like me traveling. It had a powerful woman. It's got all the things we want. It had family, on vacation. It had a lot of family because it had, let me tell you about God. Let me tell you about God. I had a little rowboat, a canoe on there because I love the water. And so I had the beautiful setting of this woman, and she's going down the bayou in a canoe. How about God gave me, I got a big speedboat, and I have a 24-foot pontoon. I had I have 3 boats since, okay? So I sold one, and I still have 2. I say that to say there was a canoe on the vision board. But God said, I'm going to give you something twice as big, twice as nice, and you're going down the bayou. So every time we leave out, we go down through the bayou. And I just be like, God, I don't know. But see, just like you have a vision, Satan see your vision, and you upset him. That you have the audacity to think that you can accomplish those goals. And I'm going to irritate you with the closest thing around you, your spouse or your children.
Yeah.
So I took my little board, moved it with me to the salon, and it began to manifest. And it has manifest.
Cousin, let me tell you, when I say we got to be obedient to the spirit, because you don't know, but I call myself making a vision board. I had a vision board party one Christmas, me and my girls. We had done been planning on this party. We got the magazines. We done bought all kind of stuff. Everybody done bought everything to contribute. So it's New Year's Eve, whatever. You partying, having a good time, drinking, cutting up while we're doing our vision boards. Girl, on that vision board, we wound up leaving, going somewhere. We went to I went by my daughter's house for the rest of the
Your
evening.
volume, something's going on with the volume.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but you're low.
Okay, it might be me just getting low in the story.
I
Okay,
hear you now.
okay, so we leave, I go by my oldest daughter's house and left all the stuff on the table, my vision board and everything. I'm like, okay, I'll finish off the last little pieces when I get back. Baby, that man had done threw that vision board away.
Yeah, because you was visualizing and he wasn't in it. In his mind, he wasn't, you was gonna outgrow him. Yeah, that's what happens. Threw it
That
away.
threw that vision board away.
Why? It wasn't bothering him.
It wasn't bothering him, but it's exactly what you said. That vision board was conflicting with his spirit. He looking at this board and he like, this ain't nothing I got planned. This ain't in my business.
You got to go. You got to go.
Threw the board away, didn't ask no questions, ain't had another word to say about it. Nothing. I say it's all right. I make my own vision board and put it on my phone.
Yeah, my vision board caused some problems in my household. You don't know. I've even had to cry behind my little regular vision board. I had to let me pull this board down again. But baby, I hung on to that board. It was an old vision board. I did this with some friends of mine because I'm always trying to inspire Black women, or women, period. I'm always trying to inspire. So I got my friends, let's get together. And some of them I'm not even friends with anymore. People will come into your life for a season and then they go on. But one thing they're going to be able to say, that doggone Denise always trying to figure out a way to come together and do something positive. So we did vision boarding. Oh God, it had to have been like maybe 15 years ago. Just my same little regular board that really wasn't allowed in the house. It was about 15 years ago. We had a vision board party and I had them get up and explain about their vision board and we recorded it and it was really nice and it was really emotional. And I kept mine. I don't know what they did with theirs. I kept mine, and mine has manifest. Girl, it was like I had to leave yesterday behind. And that's what I tell people. How do you expect God to give you something when you still standing in the mess? You will have
Mm.
to leave the mess so he can bless you. And so when I stood empty and without, he filled my life with everything brand new.
Mm.
Everything brand new, from head to toe. He just filled me brand new. And guess what? God blessed me also to have a good relationship with my ex. And I know when he come here, I know he said that doggone vision board. That doggone, she kept that doggone vision board. But I am happy to say I have put billionaire back up under my picture. I don't care who see it. I don't care who stop coming to the salon.
Right.
My spirit say I'm a billionaire. My spirit
Mm-hmm.
says that God is working it out. I
Mm-hmm.
will not leave this earth and not be a billionaire. I will leave behind a legacy. It has always been in my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's my spirit. So I betrayed me.
Mm.
When I took that down, I betrayed me. Therefore, I stopped, I cut off
Mm.
manifestation by allowing somebody to make me feel less than or to worry about what somebody's going to think.
Mm.
So I'm glad to say millionaires under my picture again, and I'm waiting on it.
You got the recipe now, baby. You got the recipe. Look, you got the recipe. You know how to put this thing together. You know, okay, this is what I need to do. God, you favor me. Look, I know how to do this thing now, and I'm not worried about what the world got to say about it. I'm
Mm,
not worried about the outside, because hey, I've done the work. I've been doing the work, and God, you're faithful. You're showing me that hey, this is what I need to do, and be obedient and
yeah,
faithful in what and baby, you there. So you're
yes.
gonna manifest that billion and everything else that's on
I'm
this next
expecting
board.
it. I'm expecting. And you know what? My husband is a visionary. We always talk about, when the check comes, this is what we're gonna do. So my dreams and my goals don't scare him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he blessed me to live this comfortable life, he continues to dream with me. So he
Mm.
plays the game with me. When our check come, I dream of, my vision is to build Maddie's estate. My uncles are getting older and my aunts are getting older. Aunt Barbara, she don't have a daughter. And my dreams is to build where they can keep an eye out on each other. It hurts me that as they age, I just can't take care of them the way I would like to do. So
Right.
God, you sit high and you look low, but you know my desires. My desires is to build the Maddie's estate, community that is with her children, and I pray that it is passed down to the grandchildren and we just continue building and manifesting. That
Mm-hmm.
is my desire. I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. I'm not wishing upon it. I'm waiting on it.
We claiming that thing. We
Yes,
claiming that thing. And
yes,
it's
ma'am.
ironic. So many of Maddie's children, grandchildren, her seeds have the same vision.
Yeah,
Because that's the vision we saw. That started off as that one bedroom house and became something greater. We were always together.
yeah,
We ate together, we did everything together
we
in that,
did.
in what it became,
Yeah,
and we all were always happy when everybody
always
came
happy.
together. We
Yes,
always looked forward to that,
so happy.
and that's what it needs to get back to. There is too much division amongst us, and too much of the attitudes, too much emotions for all the wrong reasons, and everybody's sensitive nowadays for whatever reason, but if we just get back to the basics,
The
back
base.
to the back to the basics and just loving on each other, embracing and supporting each other,
Yeah, yeah, yes. We can do it. I believe we can do it. We just got to be willing to let yesterday be yesterday, and whatever mistakes took place in yesterday, let it be. But tomorrow can hold so many beautiful things. I'm looking across the room,
Okay.
and I have this big mirror of Paris on my wall. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's huge. And when my husband took me to Como Furniture to purchase this big picture, God in heaven knows, I never thought hanging that wall of London, I would be in London within 2 years of hanging that. It's like this huge vision board that was hung on my wall. And as we passed by this vision, we wound up in London.
Wow.
And I'm just like, God has so many amazing things for us in store. Why hang on to yesterday when we can
Mm,
come together and just laugh and talk about where He has brought us? Where He, like I spoke at your dad's funeral, we all come from that 2 bedroom, no bath house, and we
mm-hmm.
are doing some amazing things. We might not have what someone else have, but we are doing some amazing things. And it would just be so amazing that we could come together and our children can come together and we can talk about how we got over.
Yes,
Our
yes.
soul looks back and wonder how we got over, how
Mm,
we look dirty, running those shoes. Sometimes you have, there's times I run around, I didn't have any shoes on my feet. How did we get so fancy that we
mm-hmm.
forgot?
Mm,
I wish we could come back. I just desire that
mm,
we, the women, I desire to see us all in the kitchen cooking. I
mm-hmm.
desire to see our children making noise of joy. And I
Mm-hmm.
desire to see our strong men, overseeing us, making sure that we got it, all of us. That's what I desire.
I truly feel that we're going to have that experience again. I truly feel we will. We are in an age of enlightenment and awakening, and people's minds and hearts are changing. In our family in particular, we've endured so much. The guys have endured so much. They've been attacked so much. Um, but we see a change, right?
Yeah,
And we know everything ain't for everybody, because some of these things, hey, it ain't gonna be for everybody to be a part of because they're not right in their spirits, right? And they're not right in their hearts. But I do see a change coming, and it's gonna start with us. It's
yeah,
going to start with the elders. It's going to start with the older people showing that love, continuing to show that love and embrace, but also sharing that vision. And this is the vision so that we can bring it to life. But I see that coming again. And you're continuing on that tradition in your home.
yeah,
When we come together at your house. And I remember through the years it was different people house along the years, but that's a family tradition that we've kept. And I see that continuing, and that's something that we all need. We all get happy when it's time for us all to get together, and I know I didn't travel a long way to,
to get
to come
home.
together. It be exactly and be with my family. So it's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen. Before you leave this earth, you're gonna see it again.
yes, I'm looking forward to it.
It's coming. Denise, in closing, you have a lot of things going on, a lot of things that you have done. Tell me about what you're working on now. Tell me about what you have going on.
I feel like I have a calling with my vision board building. I just feel like that is it. That is my calling to make a difference
Mm,
in my community. When I was young, I wanted a community center, and I used to tell my ex-husband, "I'm going to have a community center in North Slidell, and we're going to be doing different things in it." And he used to be looking at me like, "This is one of the dumbest girls I have ever been with." And I would just talk these dreams of a community center. And one day I was in my salon and I'm like, "This is North Slidell. It's considered north of Slidell." And I had given like sewing classes, and I just gave my building for my cousin who was a councilman, running for councilman, and just many different things I had opened the salon up for. And God blessed me to have a large salon. He, gave me wonderful people, and I'm able to have this large salon. And then I realized this is the center of making the change with my community. It's not directly behind the house or whatever, but it is north of Slidell, and and I have done many things for the community in it. So it is
Mm.
my community center.
Girl, yes.
It's
Yes.
so my
Wow.
calling is with the vision board building, and it is to make a change in my community, to be the change, to be the change. I went to the store the other day, and this lady goes, I know you. And she's whispering, so I'm whispering with her. And I follow you on Facebook, your little talks. And I said, oh, really? And I'm like, why are we whispering? So I went to my doctor's visit, and I didn't know this neurologist because I've been having pain in my arm. And she treated me, and we're walking out, and she goes, I know you. I said, oh, really? She says, are you on like Facebook or something? Now she knows. I said, yes. And she says, I follow you. So everywhere I've been going, I've been whispering. So I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful that because I didn't know how to create this amazing podcast, because I always felt like I don't know how to do that. So I've just been talking, and my talks have been working. My vision board classes have been working. And I feel like that's my calling. My calling is to just be uplifting and to be a woman of example. I think God gave me my husband because I wrote to God. I wanted a man that would show my children what love looked like.
Ooh.
That their daddy did not show love, but he was wounded. As a kid,
Mm-hmm.
he was wounded. So he
Mm-hmm.
did the best he knew how. But my husband that I have now is so humbled.
Mm.
It's like when I wrote to God, God just brought him right onto that salon. He's patient, he's kind, he's loving. Now, this man has 3 children now, my children. He has 10 and a half grandchildren. They mine, they run through here whenever they want. I got a
Mm-hmm.
room where the grandkids come and they just stay here whenever they want. When
Mm-hmm.
we cook breakfast, I'm like, you got grandkids now, huh? This morning I asked him, I said, Anaya is at the house. Did you cook breakfast? He said, well, I cooked some breakfast, but she went in and went on about her business in the room. I said, oh, Papa, shocked her this time. You didn't cook enough breakfast or whatever. He has grandkids now, which means the budget of cooking and all the this man took it in, and it was what I prayed for, God, that you would show my sons what a man that can love his wife. I needed that because we had
Mm-hmm.
been in such an ill state. The family was a family. We was ill, and we
Mm.
was trying to make it work in that illness. But
Mm-hmm.
God brought me out of that, and I think He brought me out even to heal Eric, because I
Mm-hmm.
bring Eric in here too.
Right.
Girl, I don't know where this husband of mine come from, but we all come in here and we break bread and shake hands. But he needs to know what
Mm-hmm.
love looks like. So maybe one day when he find a wife, he know that it is important to put your queen in her castle. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that when your queen pull out that driveway, they like, man, check her out, because that's his wife. My
Mm-hmm.
husband, they be like, man, you did that. I have to let them know now. Denise did a little something, something too. We bought this house. I put some money down too. So, but a man gets credit when his queen is shining.
Mm-hmm.
And the man don't even realize when your queen shine, man. Do you know the men out there, they're admiring you, they looking at you, the community looking at you. So on the front of my vehicle, my husband bought me a Q80 coming out of North Slidell. I'm pushing a whole Q80. I got on the front,
Praise
my
God.
praise God. And look, this is a testimony. This ain't a brag, because I told you I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a bathroom growing up. So I ain't got no brag. I don't have time for foolishness. This is
Mm-hmm.
a testimony that when God give you a husband, that man is going to cover you. He said your husband covers you. My husband can't cover me when I'm feeding him. My husband can't cover me when I'm carrying you. You driving my car. So now you got me out there in danger because I got to stand out and wait on you to pick me up. But when he covers you, he knows that when you leave this house, I know you ain't going out there and break down. Things is possible, but I put you in something that's going to take you from A to B. I know that when you come home, my queen, your home is comfortable. I know when you step outside, I even got you outside comfortable. I wrote this down and God gave me this man. He gave me this man. It's important for your children to see love.
Yes.
That my kids got to heal. My kids are injured from my damaged relationship. And if this man can come in and show them, don't be afraid to give your wife. Don't be afraid to be her mate. But you got to also find a woman that's willing to humble herself and let him be man.
You're so right.
I humbles myself and allow my husband to be man. I will leave work at 9, 10 o'clock. I'm going to get you something to eat. You don't have to cook. Now, if you cook, if you want to. But I know my husband takes care of his 95-year-old mother. When I get off from work, your wife you gonna get a full meal. She bringing on you done did the bacon.
Right.
I'm out there making some bacon, but baby, when I'm bringing my little bacon too, I'm covered. So I take care of my husband, and I'm not gonna let no woman tell me, "Girl, you got up at 9 o'clock and you still brought him something to eat." You gonna mind your business. Because when I roll up to this man who takes good care of me, I humble me. I am the wife. I am the helpmate. You know what I'm saying? And that's a problem we have in our home. We don't know how to be the helpmate to a man.
Right. We want to do everything.
Don't break your man down. I'm not breaking my man down. Don't come over here visiting me talking about what you got going on with your broke down marriage. Don't bring that spirit over here. I'm the woman and he's the man. Run this show. And I'm going to follow behind you because I like the way you lead it. Don't follow anybody. I like the way he's leading. See, a man don't realize when you treat a woman good, she'll follow you. She will humble herself for you if you get the right woman.
Yeah. Yeah. And the right man, that woman don't have a problem humbling herself.
She sure don't. It comes
them
natural.
Them roles fall right in line the way they're supposed to. You ain't got to do no whole lot of arguing.
He didn't have to tell me no definition of a woman. It was already in me. He said he knew the second day. I knew, the first time he picked me up and I said, I'm not around the way, girl. And he said, okay, we'll see. And I thought that was so cute. And he had never been married. So I'm like, look, we ain't going no 6, 7 years. Let me let you know that now. By next month, you should know who and what you want. Girl, look, he was like, the next day I knew you was my wife.
Hey, but that ain't nothing but God. That ain't nothing but God. Because guess what? He confirmed that thing for y'all. He confirmed it for you. He confirmed it for him, and y'all ain't even have to. You ain't have to figure it out.
No, not at all.
Figure it out. You was able to tell him, baby, God sent you to me. You is for me. You are my Boaz.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, let me give you some chills.
Okay.
I had picked out 2 houses before I ever went to his house. I had 2-bedroom houses. I said, you know what? I've raised my children. I'm going to build me a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
And I'm going to live in my house and make it, I'm just going to make it perfect for me. So I had spoke to this girl, Nicole Jones, because one of the houses was a rooftop where you could party on the rooftop. I wanted one of these modern homes. You go upstairs and party on the rooftop. Because we love to party. So it was going to be a modern house. So I called Nicole and I said, because her husband is a contractor. So God will verify your story. So I called Nicole and I said, look, I want to build this rooftop house. It's going to be 2 bedrooms. I want the balcony up top. The whole house is to be a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
So she got with her husband, and he said, well, as long as it's built outside of city limits, we can do it. Well, I meet my husband, and there was this other house. And so it was those two houses, and I love these two houses. So he brings me to his house where he did never want me to leave. He brings me to his house, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, this house looks familiar. And so I start moving around in the house, days later, I'm moving around in the house. Why that's the house, that the other house that I was gonna build?
What? Stop
Why
it.
that's the house I was going to build. And I screamed, I said, oh my God, I have this house on my phone, the floor plan and everything on my phone. I was going to build this house or the other house. But wait, that ain't all. Because I still hadn't been in his bedroom. I don't know nothing, I didn't know nothing about his bedroom. And it's so funny because I would peck him on the lip and I would pat him. No, I didn't peck him on the lip, peck him on the jaw. No, maybe I wasn't even kissing him, but I knew I would like give him this hug, that pet. And they say that pet is a friend.
Uh-huh.
So I go to do that and he pecks me on the lip and I'm like, oh my God, this man done kissed me. I wasn't ready for none of that. So I'm at his house and I still hadn't done anything like been in the bedroom or nothing like that. And so some kind of way, I saw the bedroom and it's lined up with Janet Jackson. Girl, he got pictures of Janet Jackson. Well, I grew up and they said I looked like Janet Jackson.
Right, right.
Of laughing. I said, I need to go get you my pictures when I was a young girl. And you can put my pictures by these, and they are going to look like her. So he manifests me. And then he had already built my house that I was talking about building. It was already built. He already had pretty much my pictures lined up on the wall because I got pictures that I can put by each one. It's so funny how God does things. And I begin to say, this is my
I was supposed to
husband.
be with this man 10 years ahead of time, but before when the
When I was supposed to,
baby.
it's so
Oh my
funny.
God.
No, God had to get him ready. He had to get him ready. And when he got him, so it was so funny. I'm like, this man had already built my house. And then I go finally make it to the bedroom area. I'm like, these pictures look like me when I was a young girl. I want you to know that. And he's like, really? I said, yes. I said, Janet has had surgery. I said, growing up, they called me Janet Jackson everywhere I went. And he's laughing. So I find some pictures and I'm like, put that one right there. And so he was able to see I wasn't lying. But it's just visualize. That's all I can tell you. Keep right here, this here is powerful. It's powerful. Whether you think negative and manifest, because I have manifest some things that I say now, I don't play. I don't think bad upon nobody. I don't do none of that because I know I'm powerful and I don't play with it. This thing here up in here that God set up in here, you better be careful.
Yeah.
You better be careful what you think it. Because you will definitely manifest it.
And we have to be careful with what we speak.
Yes.
What we speak. We do have the power of life and death in the tongue.
Oh my God. I have learned that these two things right here, it's almost that look like a telephone, don't it? Girl, don't call it up. Don't call it up. It's something. It's amazing.
It almost do. Denise, I have enjoyed you so much. Oh my God. Look, I don't know how many parts to this thing we're gonna have. we're gonna work it out some kind of way. I've enjoyed it. Look, for this to be my very first virtual interview, I like this. I really do. You're comfortable in your space. You're able to open up in your space. I really, really appreciate you being as free as you have been. And I can't wait to release this episode. However, we're gonna figure it out. Um, I want to ask you, can you share where the audience can find you at. What platforms, what do they need to look up? Where can they find you and follow you?
You can find me on Facebook, Denise Thompson. Um, my books are sold at Amazon. Author Denise Thompson. This book here, you can find, it is written by Marcia M. Dorsey, the one that I played, that main character. And actually, that's me holding that gun. Every time I look at that, it's like, oh my God. But yeah, that's me. So when you Google Denise Thompson, quite a few things is gonna pop up. This uneducated young lady that I didn't graduate from high school, but God said, I will qualify you. He'll qualify you.
So Denise Thompson on Facebook. Are you on any other platform?
I'm on Instagram. I think it's Idell Stylist. You can find me on Instagram, but most of my posts are on Facebook. So you
Okay.
can find me directly there. But again, you can Google Denise Thompson and quite a few things.
Okay, okay. Did you start your YouTube channel?
I have not. My mother had a stroke, and I have been dealing with that. I go see her in the mornings, and I go in the evening. I go at lunch. I'm trying to keep, be right there for Mama, and
Oh yeah.
it's just the two of us. Jerome, my brother, travels with the airlines. So he's with Mama right now, which allows me to just be so free and enjoy this conversation. She's being taken care of.
That is
So
so good. I'm glad.
a lot
Well,
of
I
things.
know you got a YouTube channel coming up. I know it's gonna be coming out
Yeah,
because you're working on something major too. And you didn't even really mention a lot of the things that you have going on and working on because I know you're building your dream is your focus.
yeah.
And that destiny you're walking into. I want everybody to make sure you go follow her, check her out. I love what you're doing with building your dream. When you said what you said about washing the feet and walking into your purpose, baby, I could have screamed over here. I got chills listening to that. That right there alone, I'm gonna be part of your class. Like next time I'm down there, we're gonna plan that. I gotta be there. I gotta be there. I want to experience that.
It is truly a calling, but you must, after this, you have to interview Tiffany Williams. She's going to blow your mind about her experience after having her feet washed and laying out. She brought her sorority with her. It was about seven of them, and then we took them on a sunset cruise. So it was a vision board building ending with a sunset cruise. So we did the class, and it was absolutely beautiful. They was shocked when they got there because God blessed me with that salon that I could clear out and turn it into a banquet hall. And
Whatever,
it was
yes.
beautiful, and they were just blown away. And my next class, I had a beautiful some friends, and we cried and we talked and we built, because I want people to know, because you are already married and because you have graduated and because you appear to be on your dream job does not mean you stop dreaming. So I try to get people to understand, honey, come into the class, come
Mm-hmm.
experience, pray over your marriage. So when you come, bring your pictures of your husband, or bring a picture of your marriage when you got married, bring a picture of your home, and then sit down and write what it is you see for that family in 5 or 10 years. So we do all that kind of stuff, and they're just shocked to, wait, you mean to tell me I can fertilize what I already have? Yes, you
Mm,
can fertilize what you already have. But if you're not thinking about it, you're not fertilizing it. You have it
mm,
in a domain state. So you need to fertilize that marriage, that home, those children with your thoughts. Give it some attention.
Girl, I love it. I love it. Baby, that should be your commercial right there. Do you have a commercial? Do
So,
you have a commercial? Uh, I love it. I love it. Denise, thank you so much. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for sharing.
And you
We'll
too.
probably have you back again. And I'm definitely gonna get with Tiffany.
Yes.
Um, and we'll talk about that. All right. I love you, cousin. I
I
will talk
love
to you
you
soon.
too. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It has definitely been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. This is, oh my God, I'm so overjoyed having you. You just don't know that I'm so filled up talking to you. And this has done so much for me, Denise. This has done so much for me. You never really know what the next person is going through, right? And even though we're related, you never really know what I'm going through and vice versa. But there's a lot of things that you said that I needed to hear. I needed to hear, and I needed to hear it tonight. So I'm so glad that we was able to connect past all the technical difficulties. The enemy is a lie. The
Yes,
enemy
he
is a
is.
lie.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
We made it past that, and we're gonna get this message out. I love you, cousin, and I'm gonna talk to
I
you
love you
later.
too. All right.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Her Story. Be sure to stay tuned for any future episodes. And if you haven't done so already, go back and watch one of our previous episodes. Thank you.